Hello everyone, on this very cold day in March. It's 4 degrees outside at the moment, going down to -4 degrees tonight, going back up to 7 degrees, and then the day after to 12 degrees. So the weather is so inconsistent, it's difficult to know how to progress with the plants, how to harden them off, when to harden them off, and when to put them in the ground. I'm growing onions from seed because I've been advised that that's the best way to grow onions if you're a real gardener. Well, I've never been successful before, but I'm trying yet again. These are the Bedfordshire Champions, sown on the 16th of February, Ailsa Craig, sown on the 14th of February, Armstrong, sown on the 31st of January. But because I'm not so confident, I'm going to grow sets as well. And these are the sets that I'm growing. These are 2 of the 3 lots, and I'll plant the next lot out today. These are Turbo, bought from Wilko for £2.50 for 500 grams. And I've not put any bottom heat. They're in the unheated spare room at the moment, whereas the seedlings, the onion seedlings, had bottom heat because they seem to need that quite a lot, whereas I found out that the cabbages and lettuces certainly don't need bottom heat. And over here I have the leeks. I've oversown these leeks, which are Elephant, which was free seed that I've not tried growing before, Below Zero, which has been successful in the past, and good old Musselburgh, which that's the last of the seed, otherwise I would have grown more. And that's about the density I want to really grow these seeds at. The reason why these are outside as usual is because my dining room table, where I would normally film this, is just covered in plants. It's wonderful. There's a bit of sun. Next year I intend growing my main lot of onions from sets, but I also still want to try to improve my growing from seeds, and to that end I will be growing them individually in this container-wise 77 module tray and see how that works. Here I have tatsoi, though it says rosette pak choi. And I've had a lot of trouble with these because the stem grew really tall before even these little cotyledons, these seed leaves, came out. So I had to transplant them right up to the hilt there. And now they've got, some of them are starting to get their second leaf. I've lost a couple, well actually 3. And it's the first time I've grown them, so it's an experiment. Let's see how that goes. I've tried some pak choi here and they're doing exactly the same. I gave them no heat. They went directly into the non-heated spare room, but I'm going to do what I did with the tatsoi and replant them up to the hilt there and see how they go. Some of them are actually looking a bit yellow, and I don't know what it is in the soil or why they're doing that. Over here is the sugar snap pea, and which I thoroughly enjoyed last year, and I've run out of sugar snap peas, so they're starting to come out, as you can see there. I'm going to buy another packet and grow a few more. And here I have some carrots that were lying at the bottom of the fridge, which I like to grow a few carrots, not for the carrots themselves, but for the flowers. So hopefully these will flower this summer. Over at the back I have bought the tayberry Buckingham, which is a thornless tayberry, and you think, well, haven't you got enough berries? And the answer is no. My neighbour even said that, and I said, no, you can never have enough berries. This is meant to be as good as the thorn full tayberry, and I've already got a spot for it on the allotment. Well, here at the back of the garden, amongst all the mess and the trays, I have the 3 Taunton Dean little seedlings, which have got really good roots to them. I should have planted them last year, but I just didn't have the time. But they're doing well. Do you remember on the last video I showed you that one of the Taunton Dean plants had grown to about 7 foot, up to about there? But they were dying, and I had to take cuttings in February, which I didn't think would survive, because I really prefer to do that in something like March, but possibly not this March because it's not a very warm March. But these are the cuttings I took, and they've been outside and they've been under a fleece, and I think I'll get a few plants from here. And at the back of the garden I have some Avola first early peas, which I should ordinarily have put out by now. They shot up very quickly. They obviously like cold weather, but to try to make them a bit bushy, I've picked out the tops and kept them out here in the cold under a double, very messy cloche. And I'm going to leave it another week, I think, and see how the weather does before I put them out. Over there are radishes, which I was hoping to interplant, do my first lot of interplanting this year. There's white icicle, which I really enjoyed in the past, and also Vienna. Vienna is an F1 hybrid, and white icicle is an old-fashioned, lovely, long, very tender radish. Well, this is my back garden veggie patch as it looks at the moment, with the rhubarbs coming along there, starting to grow here. And can you imagine how crowded it was when I had the four big tubs of blackcurrants here over the summer and over the winter, which I've now got on the allotment and which I have now planted out, which I'll show you later. And I've also acquired more wood. I am so pleased, and I'll show you that now. Well, is this deja vu? I was on a run this morning, very brief runs these days, and I saw these outside someone's house on the pavement and asked permission to take them, which she gave. And I've done 2 hairy trips back home to take these in the car with about 1 foot sticking out, and that's why I had to cut that piece off, because that would have been dragging on the ground. But I am just so pleased. I don't normally have as good luck as this, and don't hold your breath, because I'm not very good at cobbling together pieces of wood, and I'd never pass any exams in carpentry. And these are some more bits of wood that I've got from a skip with permission, and they'll come in handy. And now I'm going inside because I am frozen. Well, I finally finished making this bed using the decking, and I put some battens in to give it some strength, because it's a bit, those very long pieces of wood are very bendy. And now I'm going to put in the manure, and that's now the 12 bags of manure that I've put in. Well, this is the strawberry bed finally. I've topped up the soil with some I've got from someone's front garden, which is a bit clayey, but it was free, and I've also bought some compost from the shops. And these are strawberries I've had for quite a long while. They've been in my garden in pots. They've been through the heat of last summer. They've been through the freezing cold of December, January, and now most of them have got good roots, but I'm going to lose a few, I know that. And they've all been chosen for their flavour. They are lovely strawberries. Trouble is, I've lost the labels and I don't know which is which, so it would be handy if I got 1 or 2 strawberries from them so that I could identify them and stick a label on them. Coming over here are the 2 saplings, the apple scrumptious and the gauge over there. And coming a bit further, this is my fruit area, is where I planted those blackcurrants. The 4 blackcurrants that I had first on plot 1, then in big pots in the garden, which I showed you. It took up so much room near the rhubarb. And these seem to be doing quite well. I'm going to widen this a bit when the garlic's finished and make this into a very neat line, so that if ever I can afford to make a fruit cage or buy a fruit cage, then this is the right size for it. And this is finally the strawberry bed, all completed and in sunshine. How wonderful. And I just forgot to tell you that I put mycorrhizal powder at the roots of each of them, and I hope that will help. And this is a spring garden, which is very fleeting, so I have to film it, with the dwarf iris reticulata called Harmony and the dwarf narcissus called cyclaminius, and a little hellebore over here, and the snowdrops are going over now. And this is a lovely dwarf daffodil called Snow Baby. I hope you've enjoyed the video. Please subscribe and please comment. See you soon.